But as you grow older, you mature and you get to learn that it's a lot more than that, and it has to be a lot more than that. You have to be in the gym for much more than just trying to build your glutes or trying to, because ultimately what you're doing in that time, which is 2 years, 3 years of your time, has a large impact on who you're going to become, because fitness doesn't only affect that time that you spent in the gym, it affects every single thing that you do, your mental space, the energy that you have to do every other thing that you do. So, we carry these bodies with us at every breathing moment. So it has to be taken care of, and that's a non-negotiable. And if our minds are rooted in, the aesthetics that come with working out, we lose so much.
So Bonge, it's great to meet you today. I know I was a little bit late, but we are here.
We're here.
So great to chat. And, I'm an admirer of the work you've been doing, like as a fitness coach and stuff online.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know a little bit more about your background. People who watch this show really want to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. They want to start and, build a life that they've been dreaming about. So how did you get started?
Do you want the long story or? Well, I think I could say I got started into content creation in the year 2020, COVID time. At that time, I was in university, and I think I was in my first year. Yeah, I think I was in my first year at that time. And I picked up my phone camera at the time. I was looking at my phone and I was like, I don't think this would give the quality that I wanted to give, but we're going to make it work. And so I spent a long time just sitting in front of my computer, like studying YouTube videos and taking notes and just a lot of that. And then when my sister handed me down her old phone, and I was like, okay, finally a phone, because I was really iffy when it comes to quality of my content and all the things. And that happened, and then I started recording, started shooting. I actually didn't start my YouTube channel until 2022. So I initially started on Instagram, and I was documenting my fitness journey and sharing my workouts. And then there was interest in that, and the interest kind of grew, and I started building that connection with my community over time, and then which led to then me deciding I was going to go all in and dropping out. And then this is where we're at maybe 5 years later. Yeah.
Wow. So what were you doing before then? Because I think that's like the part where people are like, I need to let go of this full-time job. How do I do it?
Well, before then, so initially going from high school, I was that person who was like, I don't know what I want to do. I had no idea what, and I think the shift between high school and real life, or like life outside, was for me crazy and such a huge shift. And so I thought to myself, I did know that I wanted to go into the fitness industry, but also coming from a family like mine, it took a bit of convincing, having to because at that time, there was not so many people that you see in this work who are, successful in it, or, a reference point to say, oh, this person has done it. So from there, I then started trying to do the necessary work, doing the research that I needed to do. And that also meant that I didn't go straight to university after high school. I took a gap year, and that was supposed to be 1 year, went into second year. And it was an unplanned gap year because I think that time was also necessary for me to grow and to be really sure on what I wanted to do. And so for a very long time, I fought the idea of kind of going all in, which I think is a lot of people's struggle, which is shifting from leaving everything that I know to go into this thing where there's uncertainty. And I used to think to myself, and my parents used to tell me, you need a plan B, you need to. So I felt like I knew I needed a plan B, but I was so sure of this and I'd been praying so much about it that I kind of knew initially that it was going to have to be either 10 toes in or we're not doing it at all. And so being scared, I then pursued and got into university, and I started pursuing my studies, and then went into first year. First year was horrible for me because I knew then that this is not where I'm supposed to be. And I think that's a lot of people go through that when you feel that shift, when you're being moved to something different, that you really feel that I'm supposed to be elsewhere, but that there's a fear that comes with trying anything new, and you don't know if is it going to work out. And so did my first year, went great. I was studying marketing, which was great. And then second year, about 2 months into it, going from, I'm the kind of person that had a lot of friends, social in high school, all of that. So that first year in university was horrible for me.
Wow.
And I felt like it's horrible, but also I know I'm not supposed to be here. And what I am studying is what I want to do. And I understand the necessity of me being educated in it, but I feel like I would learn much quicker if I just threw myself into it. So even me being in university was kind of was something that I was doing to kind of like, let me just see if I can, because I was scared to go all in. And then came second year, about 2 months into it, I decided I was going to drop out, and which was quite crazy at the time, because you've got to convince a lot of people as to why you're dropping out and and you're going into something, like I say, where there's so much uncertainty. It comes with a lot of fear. It comes with a lot of having to, sometimes you even question yourself. You question, is it going to work out? But I always believe that as long as you're trying, you cannot fail. And I would much rather try and pursue the thing than never know what could have happened from there. And so that's what that was, and that led to this journey.
So many things you said there just really resonated with me. Yeah. I think first, this whole gap year, this period of time where you kind of knew you had to make a decision, but you were waiting. Yeah. And I really do think that entrepreneurship requires this self-discovery journey. You cannot be an entrepreneur and not know who you are, not be confident, not, know where you're going. You have to have the vision. And a lot of people try to skip that part. Yeah. They try to be like, oh, she's doing it, let me do what she's doing. But that's not for you, right? You got to go for what's for you. So I thought that was really interesting. And then also your family, because family is important. Very, very. Family is a huge pressure for a lot of people, because if your mother, right, or your father is telling you, no, you can't do this, and particularly if you're young, it can really shape you. I remember, so for me, this is like a childhood core memory from way back when. So I loved art. I was always painting and drawing and all this stuff. And I remember telling my father oh, I'm going to be an artist when I grow up. And he was like, no, you're not, because artists only make money when they're dead. That's what he said. That's what he told me. And I will never forget it. I don't even know how many times I said it on the show, but it is like a core memory. Yeah. But that did really shape me. I went on to be a lawyer, right? Practiced law for 15 years. And now I'm doing artistic creative stuff, right? So you're right. I mean, lucky for you, you didn't go and spend 15 years doing something that, maybe you weren't, cut out to do, but at least you found your way. Can you tell me a little bit more how your upbringing shaped this path?
Yeah, I think what was also a bit of an advantage on my end was that I got to firsthand watch people around me take a particular route, which was the traditional route, which is you go from high school, you go into university, you go into, then you get a job, and then you work at it and all the things. And so the kind of child that I was already that child that did everything that was oh, this one we're going to have a problem. And I knew that. And so that was me. And I always had a strong personality. Everybody at school knew I was the class clown, the one making everybody laugh and all the things. And I think from there, I could see that there was a part of me, well, I think shifting from high school to getting into the real world, that kind of shut, or I don't know, I felt like that part of me was kind of silenced for some time, because then I got into the world and I realized it's not what I thought it would be, and a lot of people around me were not necessarily advising me to go, we're in high school and you're told follow your dreams and all the things. And then you get into real life and you try to follow your dreams, and everybody's like, no, that's not really the thing to do. You first got to do this and plan this. And so that in itself was a bit of a shift, because I'm like, okay, I thought that's what everybody was doing. That's what real life is. And so I thought that the idea to first do what I need to do so that I can, make a living, and then I can pursue what I want to pursue, for me felt like, why not just go all in? And those are the kind of questions that I had. But like I said, I think it's very difficult when, with my family and where I come from, where you're not seeing anybody that has, or you're not seeing that many people that are from your background that have done that and who are telling their stories and speaking on what it's like and all of that. So it's like, what is the reference point? And so even for your parents or your family to have that, because obviously they care and they want you to succeed. But if it's something that they do not know of and they haven't seen somebody do it, it's a bit of a sticky one. So I understood that it had to work. And so even the challenges that came with that and trying to convince everybody to pursue what I wanted to pursue, I find that a necessary part of the entire journey, because it has made me who I am now. And also it kind of put that pressure where it's like, I have to make it work, because I've kind of told everybody that this is going to work, and for it not to work would not be good. So that also, I think that was a good pressure for me. So just being that kind of person as a child, always not loud, but class clown, wanting to try all the things. I was an entrepreneur, I guess, in high school, because I think 2 years before I completed my studies, I found this lady and I wanted to start selling things. I wanted to make my own money. So I found this lady on Facebook, I think, and we worked up an arrangement. And so she would ship some shoes and I would sell them in school. So I was that person who was like, how are you in school, but you have like a little bit of a side business going on, and nobody knew about it. And so I already had that kind of a spirit in me too. And also I come from a family of entrepreneurs. Because I had that in me, I think that was already telling me the kind of route, or speaking of the kind of route that I would go into and where I feel like I would excel. And so from there, building onto that, I think the shift from that to where we are now, there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot to it. But I think when I do look back at my upbringing, I do see so many parts that make up for who I've become and, kind of create a full picture of who we've become. And so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're from Zimbabwe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is the fitness industry like there?
The fitness industry in Zimbabwe is still growing. It's not at the point where things, or what it looks like on a global scale. I think, there's that, we played a lot of sport, and I think in Zimbabwe, almost every second child, because in schools it is compulsory for us to play sports. So that also kind of nurtured that in us, that everybody had to play a sport, right? We weren't necessarily in the gyms and things like that, but you knew that, okay, I've got hockey in the afternoon, I've got athletics in the afternoon. So those kind of things were already, like I said, in Zimbabwe, almost every child has that, and that is something that we receive from the schools. And so the fitness industry doesn't necessarily look like what it is on a global scale, but I think it's something that is growing, and something where you do see creators that are pursuing it and also trying to make, and I think content creation itself provides a gap for people from Zimbabwe to then share their love for fitness, which we haven't had access to that kind of exposure until recently. So I think it's still growing. And I think for me, because I did not pursue my fitness journey, did start in that, me having the background of playing sport and all the things, but getting into the gym, which kind of shifted me into that, personal trainer and taking care of my health, that mainly happened when I then moved to South Africa. That then I saw what was, the fitness space, and that kind of inspired me to say, okay, I think I can take this and pursue it a little differently and pursue it like what it looks like today.
The fitness space online, I mean, at least for me, like I'm a different age bracket, okay, but I still be looking. And so the fitness industry online, like you've got everything, right? And I think what's inspiring to me about what you're doing is that it's very healthy, right? I mean, I think body image for women these days is like a huge thing, right? Women, they see someone and they want to be like that, and it might not be attainable for them, but you focus on fitness and nutrition, which is big. And then secondly, I think, as a woman who wants to embrace like her body as it is, I think a lot of what you're doing is positive body image. Like, yes, you can work out, you should be healthy, but you shouldn't be trying to get to somewhere where maybe you're not meant to be. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say that that's actually what initially where everything kind of started with me, because I was very new into the fitness world. And when I first stepped into a gym maybe 5 years ago, I was overwhelmed, because, the fitness space looked very different to what it looks like right now. You had the weight section, that's where all the men are. And then you have, the ladies just by the cardio machines and just doing the little things and I wanted to be in the weight section of the gym, because I didn't understand why but also you would get the eyes, and that was back then. And so when I was in that space, I think because I wanted to have or to encourage a lot more women to get involved and to have the fitness space or the gym be very much a part of their journey as much as it is a part of, with the men's journey. So I think for me, that was what actually initially launched what I do, in me trying to teach and me trying to equip women with the knowledge of what do you do when you get into the gym? How do you build? How do you, and how do you, that gym anxiety that you get when you step into the gym and you feel overwhelmed? How do we work through that? Because I think taking care of yourself and taking care of your body is a necessity for every single person. And I think when we can step into gyms and whatever spaces, and be able to do what we want to do there and do the work that we need to do, and you feel that you are part of that community, it also encourages a lot of us to get involved and to do the work that is necessary for us to take care of our bodies. And so I think that's what really launched, my career in being a fitness content creator and being in that space. And showing a lot more women that being in that space, me being in that space could encourage them to be in that space. And also sharing very openly about the gym anxiety that I've experienced, that I still experience till this day. 8 years into working out, or sometimes getting into the gym and not knowing what you're going to do. What does that look like? That's where we then got into, okay, let's build plans, it's programs and all that kind of stuff. So that's what launched everything. And that's been something that's very dear to me, that a lot of women would feel that they are a part of that space, and also giving people the tools and the information needed to simplify your fitness journey, that it doesn't have to look like everything that you see online. It can really be very simple as just taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, and what does that look like for the average person. And also allowing fitness not to be something that is your entire life, but ultimately what we're trying to do is to build a healthy lifestyle. That's what's the most important thing. So, fitness can just be a part of your day. It does not have to be the thing where it's like, oh my God, I have to be in the gym for 5 hours. It's like, no, it's not that, And so that's been my main, I guess also what separates me from other fitness trainers, trying to really drill into that fitness can look like what you want it to look like. And if you're a mom, you're a busy girl, whatever it is, you can get into the gym and make it work for you. It does not have to look the same for everybody.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to today's episode. I appreciate when you guys tune in and the time that you take to listen to the show and support us. And I have one thing that I'd love for you to do that would really help us out, which is rate the show. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you rate it. You can do it on whatever platform you're listening on. That would do wonders for us. And if you really want to be a super fan and really support the show, there's a link below that you can support us and donate a small monthly contribution, which allows us to continue to create great content for you. Thanks so much again. Appreciate you, and see you next time.